Well, hello YouTubers, and welcome back to the Holtz Mitchell channel and another episode of Riding the Fence. Today we're going to be looking at a fence kit here for the shaper. A shaper is essentially just a router table. So this kind of system would work on a router table for those of you who would like to invest in it. This is a kit by Aigner. It's an interesting kind of a setup where you eliminate the boards that you normally would bolt or screw to the fence and use as a fence to take your workpiece along, and profile it. So anyway, I'll show you here how this whole thing gets installed. It was fairly easy. The only part that I had to make was a spacer for the back here for the handles to tighten them up. I'll bring you in here after a bit and show you how the whole thing works. So, but first, here's how it gets installed. So as you can see, there's not much to it. There's some pre-work that I had to do. One was prepping the old fence, or the mount here to accept it, and this has been neglected for quite a while. The rods didn't slide in and out very readily, so it had to be the bores had to be cleaned up. So here's how we get that done. As you can see, the bores before and after, there's quite a difference. So there was years and years of chips and dust and what have you that accumulated in the sleeve, and so that all had to be removed. And somebody prior had gone and used some pretty coarse sandpaper on it to try to clean up the shafts before, and that's how the dust ends up getting in there. So when you clean these things up, when you clean up shafts like this, you don't want to use emery cloth or anything like that. Scotch-Brite is about the best thing, or steel wool. That'll take off any rust. It won't eliminate the pitting, so you'll just have to kind of, grin and bear it with the pitting if there is any present on the shafts that you reinstall. So anyway, let me bring the camera in here closer. This is a really cool setup because, like I said, it eliminates the boards that you would normally screw to your backstop, your dust collector hood, that creates the guide. So let me bring the camera on over here. So this is an extreme close-up. As you can see here, these slats just kind of swing around, and you can slide this side of the fence and this side of the fence over to get close to your spindle down here, or your cutter head. Now, in order to set this thing up, what we do here, let me swing the camera around here a little bit. There's a knob right over here that ejects all these little bars, and you can go clean down to the table. You can go clean down to the table here and pull all these out. So we got a cutter down here on the bottom, so we won't need this one that's completely on the bottom, so we can put him back. And now we can start swinging our slats over. And as you can see, they just snap right in. And then you have a seamless surface. I mean, it's slatted, but it's seamless. So there's no, what am I looking for? No humps or bumps in here to create a bump or something like that where you're going to have to be fighting your fence. Now, another thing that's really cool about this is that what do you do when these two tables are misaligned? These are misaligned right now. It's painfully obvious, but you can't see it with the camera isn't picking it up. Let me see if I can't get it in a little closer here. Okay, you can see right here, there's a little bit of a lip. So if we loosen the fence right here, we can adjust this a little bit. Back here's the adjustment for the fence. So let me pan back down here. I need to put on my other glasses so I can see what I'm doing. So as you can see, I'm pulling it in, and this gap is getting a little bigger. So let's push it the other way, and this ends up being nice and flush. You got a nice smooth surface here all the way across, and voila, Bob's your uncle. And this whole thing is just one nice big flat surface, and now you can really go to town on it. Well, YouTubers, that's a wrap for this episode of Riding the Fence. I hope you guys got a little something out of this, and if you do have any questions about this unit, by all means, put them in the comment section below. Like I said, this is a unit that the boss purchased on eBay to upgrade this machine. You can use it on router tables, shaper tables, just about any kind of this type of machine. It's a universal setup. The back side of it has a eccentric mounted screw that actually allows for some height adjustment and so forth. So it's a pretty straightforward, easy installation. mostly toolless. If you didn't want to make the spacer like I did on the back side, you can just either cut the screw shorter, or which I don't recommend, or just fill it up with washers and use it that way. So if you ever have to mount it to a different machine, you can do so without any big efforts in doing that. So anyway, that's a wrap for today, and hope to see you guys all again soon.